let me start with a story. A story about someone who did everything right. They worked hard, they saved, they avoided crazy debt, they even invested responsibly. And yet, every time they checked their account, the number was lower. Not because they went on a spending spree, not because they made some wild mistake, but because of something quieter, a hidden leak. You know that feeling when your tire keeps losing air, even though you swear you just filled it? That's what money feels like for a lot of people right now. You're doing the right things, but your balance still drifts downward. And here we are, 2026. Inflation still hanging around like an uninvited guest, subsidies changing, benefits shifting, and a lot of us quietly clinging to jobs we don't love because, well, let's be real for a second. The fear of losing steady income is stronger than ever. I call it job hugging. You don't just work your job anymore, you cling to it. Not because you're inspired, but because walking away feels dangerous. And underneath all of that, a quiet question we don't say out loud. Am I actually safe? Today, we're talking about that. Not to scare you, but to protect you. Because your life savings shouldn't feel like they're slipping through your fingers. Beat. Let's talk about the great drain. The scares, the big three. 4 minutes. Visual shifts to bold text, the big three. Tone slightly more urgent. There are 3 major ways people lose money today without even realizing it. I call them the big 3 drains. Let's walk through them. And you know that feeling when your tire keeps losing air even though you swear you just filled it? That's what money feels like for a lot of people right now. You're doing the right things, but your balance still drifts downward. And here we are, 2026. Inflation still hanging around like an uninvited guest. Subsidies changing, benefits shifting, and a lot of us quietly clinging to jobs we don't love because, well, let's be real for a second. The fear of losing steady income is stronger than ever. I call it job hugging. You don't just work your job anymore, you cling to it. Not because you're inspired, but because walking away feels dangerous. And underneath all of that, a quiet question we don't say out loud. Am I actually safe? Today we're talking about that. Not to scare you, but to protect you. Because your life savings shouldn't feel like they're slipping through your fingers. Let's talk about the great drain. The scares, the big 3. There are 3 major ways people lose money today without even realizing it. I call them the big 3 drains. Let's walk through them. Number 1, the health trap. Here is the part no one tells you. One medical bill can undo 10 years of saving. Not because you were careless, but because healthcare is a maze. In 2026, a lot of people are hitting what's called the subsidy cliff, that moment when assistance quietly fades, and suddenly your premium doubles or triples, and you don't notice until the bill hits your inbox. That moment has a name: bill shock. It's when you open a statement and your stomach drops. And it doesn't just hurt your wallet, it hits your sense of safety. Because now you're not thinking about retirement or vacations. You're thinking, what if this happens again? And that fear alone can keep people stuck in jobs they've outgrown, in lives that feel smaller than they should. Number 2, the sequence risk. This one is sneaky. It's called sequence of returns risk. Sounds complicated, but it's simple. If the market drops early in your retirement and you're forced to pull money out while your investments are down, you lock in losses. It's like selling your house during a flood. Even if the market recovers later, your account may never fully catch up. And here's the twist. Most people don't even lose money because of bad investments. They lose it to time, in fees they never noticed. Your 401k might look fine on paper, but behind the scenes, tiny fees nibble at your returns every single year. Not enough to feel, just enough to drain thousands over decades. That's not dramatic loss, that's slow erosion. Number 3, the longevity paradox. This one feels almost unfair. We're living longer, that's good news, but our money wasn't built to last as long as we do. So now we face a strange fear. What if my body outlives my bank account? We've beaten diseases our grandparents never could, but the cost of staying healthy keeps climbing. And suddenly, the dream of retiring doesn't feel peaceful. It feels risky. Not because you'll stop living, but because you might live too long. That's the paradox. Living longer should feel like a gift, but financially, it feels like a gamble. Now, here are the solutions. How you stop the drain. Okay, that was heavy. But here's the good news. These drains aren't unstoppable. You don't need to be rich. You don't need perfect timing. You just need better structure. Let's talk solutions. Number 1, the cash bucket strategy. This is simple and powerful. You keep 2 years of living expenses in something safe and liquid. Not in stocks, not in risky investments, just cash or cash-like assets. Why? So when the market drops, you don't panic sell your future. You live off the cash bucket instead. That gives your investments time to recover. It turns a crisis into a pause. No more selling at the worst possible moment. You're not trying to beat the market. You're trying to outlast it. Number 2, HSA optimization, the stealth IRA. Here's a tool most people misunderstand, the health savings account. Most folks treat it like a checking account for doctor visits, but it can be so much more. Used right, it becomes a stealth retirement account. You put money in tax-free. It grows tax-free, and when you use it for healthcare later, you take it out tax-free. That's a triple win. And since healthcare is almost guaranteed to be a big cost in later life, you're not just saving money, you're protecting future you. Number 3, the saver's match and auto escalation. In 2026, there are more tools than ever to help people save without feeling it. New federal incentives, employer matches, auto escalation features that increase your savings slowly, like turning the volume knob one tiny click at a time. Here's the magic. You don't feel poorer. You just get stronger over time. Most people fail at saving because they try to change everything at once. Real success comes from small, automatic wins. You don't rely on willpower. You build systems. Let me leave you with this. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep. 2 people can earn the same salary. One ends up stressed and stuck. The other ends up steady and free. The difference? Not luck. Not genius. Just protection. You don't need to predict the future. You just need to stop the leaks. So here's your first step. Not tomorrow, not next month, today. Tonight, open your accounts. Look for the hidden drains, fees, rising premiums, money sitting in the wrong place. And ask one simple question. If something went wrong next year, would I be okay? If the answer is, I'm not sure, that's not failure. That's awareness. And awareness is where power begins. The great drain doesn't have to take your future. You can protect what you've worked for. Not by being perfect, but by being prepared.